You slept 8 hours last night, you had your coffee, and you're still exhausted. Something is wrong. And it's not laziness. Here is what nobody tells you about turning 40. Your body's power system is changing, and most people have no idea why. Inside every cell, you have tiny structures called mitochondria. Their only job is to make energy. Scientists found that by your 60s, mitochondrial power can drop by 40% compared to your younger years. The same walk that felt easy at 30 now costs you nearly twice the effort. Your hormones are shifting too. For women, estrogen begins to decline in your 40s, and estrogen directly controls how well your mitochondria function. For men, testosterone drops about 1 to 2% every year after 30. Less testosterone means slower recovery and less stamina. On top of that, you start losing muscle mass after 40. Less muscle means a slower metabolism, unstable blood sugar, and a body that takes longer to recover from everything. This is not vague aging. These are real, measurable changes happening inside you right now. And the strategies that worked at 30 were built for a different body. Your body has changed. The rule book needs to change too. But here is the critical part. Not all tiredness is the same, and most people are treating the wrong kind. That mistake is exactly why nothing seems to help. Scientists describe fatigue as a multi-dimensional phenomenon. That is a complicated way of saying one simple thing. There are different kinds of tired, and they need different fixes. Researchers identify 4 main types: physical fatigue, mental fatigue, emotional fatigue, and social fatigue. Most people know only one response to all 4: lie down and rest. That works for exactly one of them. Here is the problem. If you are mentally overloaded and you go take a nap, you wake up just as foggy. If you are emotionally drained and you call a friend to cheer up, you hang up feeling worse. You treated the wrong type, and nothing changed. Think of it this way. If your phone is overheating, plugging it in does not fix it. You are solving the wrong problem. Each type of fatigue has its own signals, its own cause, and its own recovery method. Mix them up and you stay stuck in exhaustion no matter how much you rest. In the next few minutes, you will learn to tell them apart. And more importantly, you will learn exactly what each one actually needs. Physical fatigue is the one most people recognize. Your body feels heavy, your muscles ache, you move slowly, you crave sugar and caffeine, you feel like you are falling apart. The fix here is straightforward. Sleep 7 to 9 hours. The American Academy of Sleep Medicine is clear on this number. Go to bed earlier, not sleep later into the morning. Most physical recovery happens in the first half of the night. Eat enough protein, drink enough water, take walks at an easy pace, not intense workouts, and reduce stimulants like coffee and your phone before bed. The mistake people make is pushing through with willpower. When your body is physically depleted, that is not a character problem. That is an energy deficit. Forcing it makes it worse. Now, mental fatigue is different. The main signal is simple. Your brain stops working. You cannot focus. Simple decisions feel impossible. You start one task, abandon it, start another. You forget basic things. You procrastinate, not because you are lazy, but because your system is overloaded. Psychologist Roy Baumeister proved that decision-making drains a limited mental resource. The more choices you make in a day, the worse your brain performs by evening. This is called ego depletion, and it is well documented in scientific literature. The fix is not more information. The fix is less input. Write every open task out of your head and onto paper. Limit yourself to 3 important tasks per day. Work in focused blocks of 60 to 90 minutes with no interruptions. Turn off notifications. and give yourself at least 1 day per week completely free from podcasts, courses, and news. Your brain does not need more content, it needs silence. Emotional fatigue feels different from the first two. Your body is fine, your brain can think, but everything irritates you. You want to cry for no clear reason. Small things trigger big reactions. You feel empty inside. You fantasize about cancelling everything and disappearing for a week. This type of fatigue builds when you suppress emotions for too long, when you perform for others, when you keep a professional face through stress, conflict, and disappointment day after day. Researcher Christina Maslach spent decades studying this. She found that emotional exhaustion is the core of burnout. The World Health Organization officially recognized it as a real occupational condition. The fix is not rest, it is processing. Name the feeling out loud or in writing. Not "I feel bad." Be specific. "I am angry, I am disappointed, I am scared." Then ask yourself what you actually need right now. Recognition, boundaries, help, rest. Then take one small action toward that need. This is not therapy talk. This is how you drain the pressure before it explodes. Now, social fatigue is the one people most often misdiagnose. The signal is simple. You do not want to see anyone. Messages feel like attacks. After conversations, you feel emptied, not energized. You are cold toward people you normally love. This hits hardest for consultants, coaches, teachers, managers, anyone who works with people all day. Your social battery is a real resource, and it runs out. The fix is not socializing more to get out of your head. That will drain you further. You need a social detox. A full day without meetings, hours without messaging apps. Scheduled silence as a real part of your recovery plan. Here is the simplest way to figure out what you are dealing with. Ask yourself 4 questions every evening. First, does my body want to lie down and sleep? That is physical fatigue. You need sleep, food, water, and less load on your body. Second, is my head foggy and does it feel impossible to think? That is mental fatigue. You need less input, fewer decisions, and more empty space in your day. Third, do I want to cry, snap, or abandon everything? That is emotional fatigue. You need to name what you feel and address what you actually need. Fourth, do people and messages feel unbearable right now? That is social fatigue. You need solitude and a real break from communication. One more thing. Most of the time you are dealing with more than one type at once. Not enough sleep combined with too many decisions. Too much emotional suppression combined with too many conversations. That is why generic rest never fully works. You need targeted recovery, not just time off. And one important reminder, if your fatigue has lasted more than 6 weeks and does not improve with rest, please see a doctor. Chronic fatigue can signal thyroid problems, anemia, or other conditions that need real medical attention. Self-help is powerful, but it has limits. Now I want to hear from you. Which type of fatigue do you recognize most in your own life right now? Tell me in the comments below. And if this video gave you something useful, subscribe. There is much more coming that your 40+ self actually needs to know.